And welcome to the Pakistan Pavilion at the World Economic Forum, Davos 2024. I humbly invite all of you to settle down. We have a great list of panelists over here, brilliant speakers under the panel of KCFR. I also thank the Swiss Asian Chamber of Commerce, SACC. We welcome Dr. Urs Lustenberger, the president of SACC. I'm Haya, Sehgal, the moderator for today, the author of Resilient Pakistan and the book Earth and Glimmer. I am going to introduce the panelists and I will give you a slight brief on them, but they would be speaking as far as the theme of today's topic is concerned, which is inspirational and inspiring Pakistan, and what do they get out of these words, and how do we as Pakistanis contribute towards our wonderful country. A little note for all of you to know: the Pakistan Pavilion is going to be celebrating this year its 20th anniversary at the World Economic Forum. I'm going to invite Dr. Urs Lustenberger, the president of SACC, the Swiss Asian Chamber of Commerce, to give a few notes.
Thank you very much for the honor to say a few words to this elect group of people. It's been a long time that we have been hosts of Ikram and his Pathfinder group, and we have always enjoyed his hospitality very much. When I heard that Ikram is celebrating his 20th anniversary up here, I was trying to figure out when did the SACC join up with him. And I think we joined up with him just very shortly after he started to come here. I remember the legendary breakfasts in the Steigenberger, where he introduced all sorts of prime ministers, senators, politicians, generals to us over the years. And we always admired his energy, his love for Pakistan, his devotion for the cause. And as we see it today, again, he is the most gracious host. He stays in the background, insists that I say the big welcome, even though he is the host. And I do the big welcome, but the welcome means a thousand words of thanks to Ikram and his devotion to his beautiful country that is facing challenges. We all know that Pakistan is facing a lot of challenges, but these challenges have to be overcome because in itself, Pakistan has all the resources needed. It has the population, the humanity needed to make it across all these hurdles, and it has the natural resources, the energy, and whatever is needed to make a rich country out of it. And over time, I am convinced Pakistan will be able to cross all the hurdles that are necessary to be crossed to make it one of the most prosperous, most, how do I say that, future-looking countries. And when I see the group companies that Pathfinder has arranged under itself, then I know that Ikram sees the future of Pakistan in electronics, in digitalizing, etc., etc. I'm always amazed at his entrepreneurship and his spirit. So with this, I would like to hand over the word back, say 1,000 thanks, and enjoy the lunch.
I'd like to invite Dr. Amjad Saqib, the chairman of BISP and the founder of Akhuwat Foundation. He is our chief guest today and we're honored to have him. A few words on him. The chairman, Dr. Amjad Saqib, is the chairman of BISP. Originally hailing from the Civil Service of Pakistan, DMD, Dr. Amjad Saqib is the founder of Akhuwat. This is the largest interest-free microfinance program in the world. This program has disbursed over rupees 200 billion to around 6 million poor families in Pakistan and has launched Pakistan's first free Akhuwat College University that is open to talented students of impoverished families from all provinces, Gilgit-Baltistan and Azad Kashmir. He is also the recipient of Social Entrepreneur of the Year Award for 2018 by the World Economic Forum and Schwab Foundation. He also has received the Commonwealth's 31st Point of Light Award by Queen Elizabeth II in 2018. The President of Pakistan has bestowed upon him the Sitara-e-Imtiyaz in 2011. And the government of Pakistan has recently announced Hilal-e-Imtiyaz in 2023. I invite to you Dr. Amjad Saqib for a couple of notes on inspiring Pakistan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Very Honorable Ikram Sehgal, the distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let me first thank VRG and the Pathfinders for inviting and speaking to this August gathering. As the name goes, Pakistan is inspiring. A land of highest mountain peaks in the world, a home of Himalayans, Karakoram and Hindu Kush, with a coastline of thousands of miles of clean, pure and pristine water, Pakistan is inspiring. With lush green valleys, deserts, a population of 240 million, hardworking, intelligent and brave people, Pakistan is inspiring. With a history of over 4,000 years, relics of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, home of Muslims, Hindus, Christians, Jains, Sikhs. With its diverse culture and civilization, with more than 20 languages, Pakistan is inspiring. With more than 500 universities, 7th nuclear power in the world, one of the largest armies to defend its frontiers, and above all, 12 million diaspora spread over Europe, America, Middle East, Far East, Australia, and Africa, contributing to the world economy, giving the message of compassion, love, and sharing. Pakistan is rising. I'm honored to, besides these few words on history, geography, culture, and the people, I will only be presenting 2 case studies very briefly, which will tell you how brave, innovative, creative, and inspiring people Pakistan is proud of. The first story is named as Benazir Income Support Program, started by Government of Pakistan in 2008. And the other story is Akhuwat, a non-government institution which works in partnership with government and civil society. Benazir Income Support Program, ladies and gentlemen, is a beacon of hope for millions of underprivileged families in Pakistan, a testament to our commitment to social justice. BISP is the largest social safety net, highly acclaimed by World Bank and international agencies. BISP's mission is to support disadvantaged households, bringing girls and boys to school and empower women. The program is built upon three fundamental pillars: consumption smoothing, poverty eradication, and women empowerment. I'm happy to see Mr. Tariq Malik, former leader of the Nadara. Learning from people like him, we developed a national socio-economic registry, a database that covers socio-economic indicators for over 35 million households. Within the folds of Benazir Income Support Program, there is Benazir Kafalat, which supports 9.3 million families with quarterly cash grants. Through Benazir Scholarship Program, we extend educational stipends to more than 8 million students from beneficiary households. Promoting education, we all know, is the best option. This program ensures that every Pakistani child has equal access to quality education, opening doors to a brighter future and improved livelihoods. The Benazir Nashwa Numa initiative, you will be happy to know, is a critical intervention aimed at addressing malnutrition, benefiting more than 1 million pregnant mothers and their newborn children. Ladies and gentlemen, in times of national emergency, BISP has been the primary vehicle for large-scale cash transfer, providing swift and efficient assistance. Its impact during COVID and flood relief in 2022 was overwhelming. Quite recently, we have launched another initiative, that is the hybrid social protection scheme, which aims at providing saving facility to more than 150,000 families. BISP started in 2008, and from baby steps, we have gone far ahead. The initial number of families within its fold were merely 400,000 to 500,000, which has been exceeded to more than 9.3 million families. This is the best reflection of the care, love, and compassion of our nation. Now, please allow me to share another story, which is also a story of compassion and sharing and giving, equally amazing and inspiring. This is the story of world's largest interest-free financial inclusion program, which is called Akhuwat. You will be amazed to know that the program started 22 years ago with merely $100, which were given to a poor widow to start her business. Just $100. She purchased 2 sewing machines, and only after 6 months, with a smiling face, she returned those $100, saying that don't put this money back in your pocket, give it to some other, men and women. I'm sure this interest-free money, which is the manifestation of love and care, will also make his or her life. So starting from just $100, today we have been able to, alhamdulillah, distribute more than 1,000 million US dollars among 4 million families. These 4 million families are 24 million people. They were not beggars. Never they sacrificed their self-respect. They took loans. And for the first time, all these loans were interest-free, benevolent loans. And you will be amazed to know how great the people of Pakistan are, that the recovery percentage of these non-collateralized loans is more than 99.9%. So not only the people who have more resources came forward, embraced the underprivileged, and instead of making them beggars, offered loans to start business and become entrepreneur, and they took advantage of their entrepreneurial abilities, utilized that amount, and contributed for the economy of Pakistan, besides themselves coming out of poverty. Encouraged by this success, that how compassionate the society is, how people of Pakistan are willing to share their riches with have-nots, we continued our journey through Akhuwat and were able to establish the first ever interest-free, the fee-free university for Pakistan. Someone said that if loan can be given without interest, why not education be given without fee? Just think the dreams of a mother who has a brilliant son or daughter but has nothing to pay for their university fee. So through Akhuwat, the people of Pakistan established an institution which doesn't ask the students to pay their fee first and get education later. This university asks the students to enter the classroom first and pay their money, pay their fee after 10 years, after 20 years, so that this journey of compassion continues. So I won't take much of your time. I was just telling you about the Himalayas, about the Karakorams, about the Hindu Kush, about 5,000 years of old history, languages and culture, about the brilliant, brave, beautiful people, how innovative, how creative, how compassionate. I was just telling you about the hundreds of miles of coastline, the green valleys, the mountains, the deserts, the universities. It's a great touring place. People are usually frightened when they are invited to come to Pakistan. They don't like. But once somebody steps in Pakistan, he doesn't like to go back. This is the glamour, this is the charm, and this is the beauty of Pakistan. I wish I could have the resources to take all my foreign guests to Pakistan and serve them with brilliant, hospitality, the food, and the smiles on the faces, the people who live in far-flung, remote villages who are great in their spirit. So won't take much time. Some stories you already know. I must appreciate and acknowledge the efforts of Ikram Sehgal Sahab for telling you about the inspiring story of Pakistan since last 20 years. If you allow me to say a verse in Urdu, I'm sure Ikram Sehgal Sahab will later translate it into English. तामीर व तश्कील फ़न में जो भी हफीज़ का हिस्सा है, निस्फ सदी का किस्सा है, 2-4 बरस की बात नहीं. How brilliantly, diligently, selflessly he has served his country, that's amazing. It's another dimension of inspiring Pakistan that we have Ikram Sehgal and many other people who love to follow his footsteps, and we all get inspiration from him. Thank you very much for inviting me and just saying few words about my country and the nation. I have just shared you 2 stories, and there are many such stories in Pakistan. We have dreams, and we know how to actualize these dreams. Our dreams are making this world a happy place to live in. Our dreams are to fight against poverty. We have dreams of taking every girl and boy to school. We have dreams that all families live the same prosperous and happy life which we all desire. Thank you very much, Ikram Saab. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening so patiently. Jazakallah.
Thank you so much for those wonderful words, Dr. Amjad Saqib. I'm going to introduce our keynote speaker, Arif Anis MBE, with a couple of words. Arif Anis MBE is a Wall Street Journal and USA Today best-selling author of British Pakistani origin. He has inspired millions globally, including world champions and Olympians, with his books I'm Possible and Made in Crisis. Recognized in the UK's top 100 influential people list for 2023, his insights have profoundly impacted individuals and institutions worldwide. Recently awarded the Royal Honours of the MBE by King Charles III and awarded the Freeman of the City of London, Anis is a global speaker who has addressed the audiences in 84 countries, blending strategy, crisis leadership, and artificial intelligence.
Thank you very much, Haya. Pakistan is inspiring. We're going to enjoy an inspirational lunch in the next couple of minutes, thanks to our host, Ikram Sehgal, the Pathfinders group. And as Dr. Saqib rightly mentioned, it is important to tell your story. If the lion doesn't tell his story, then the hunter is going to tell his story. And that would be the accomplished one then. It's important that we Pakistanis, we keep on telling our stories, the stories of inspiration. Dr. Saqib shared his 2 stories. I would share a couple others. I'm a British Pakistani, so I'll bring another perspective. The Pakistani diaspora, not many of you might be familiar, is the fourth largest diaspora in the world right now. In 153 countries, we are 12 million people, and we are creating stories. Incredible stories, uplifting stories. I joined you from London, and from London, I bring you some stories. You might be familiar, London's mayor, the mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, is Pakistani origin, who is going to be the mayor of London third time continuously in the next 2 months. His father was a bus driver, and Sadiq Khan rose to become the mayor of London, and we hope to see him sometime soon in the 10 Downing Street as a British Pakistani origin Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Not only him, there are 25 MPs, lords, members of the parliament of Pakistani origin, more than 500 councillors of the Pakistani origin from the United Kingdom. In the UK's top 10 billionaires, we have Pakistanis, British Pakistanis. We have Sir Anwar Pervez, who was a bus driver and at the same time founder of the Best Way Group. And he makes to the Sunday Times UK's top 10 billionaires. This is what we are. We are Pakistanis, and we have great stories to share. One quick question. Anyone who is present here who might be familiar with the British national dish? Chicken tikka masala is the UK's national dish. This is how inspirational we are. And we are impacting the world wherever we go, wherever we leave our footprints. I have a personal story to share, and I think this is one of the reasons I joined you today at Davos. Haya mentioned about the recent royal honors. In 2020, in February, in March, the world was struck by the menace of coronavirus. We all lived through those turbulent and testing times. There's an incredible news in the Time magazine, January 2020. The Time magazine published a list of the world's most crisis-ready countries, and there were 2 countries on the top. The Time magazine featured that these 2 countries are ready to face any kind of crisis, whatever happens. They are battle-ready, crisis-ready. The first country was the United States of America. The second country was the United Kingdom. Now, this story has a perspective. In January 2020, we get these 2 countries as the most crisis-ready countries in the world, and both these countries, they crashed to the ground in March 2020. Here comes the coronavirus. Well, none of us was really ready for that. I was diagnosed with coronavirus myself in March 2020. And what I found out, and the rest of the world found out, that the British National Health Service, which is one of the biggest organizations with tens of billions of pounds of budget, it didn't have the PPE, the protection equipment for the doctors and nurses. When I was treated, at that time, I didn't even know that I was suffering from the coronavirus, and I recovered fast. On the 26th of March, the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson declared the national emergency and the lockdown. So, we are facing a situation we are unaware. We don't know what's going on. And there's a national lockdown. Everyone stays at home under the orders of the parliament. And after 1 week time, I pick up the Mirror newspaper in which there's a British nurse who is crying at a British superstore because the shelves are empty. There's nothing to buy, not much to eat. Restaurants have closed, pubs have closed, all eateries have been closed under the order. So the doctors, nurses, they don't have any place to go and get hot food. They are only being served by the vending machines in the hospitals. I look at the newspaper and I just think, these people, doctors, nurses, the paramedics, are on the front line fighting the coronavirus. And we don't know what's going to happen with the rest of the world. And they don't have anything to eat. Just imagine, the world's most crisis-ready country, just 2 months back, and the doctors, nurses serving for 14, 18, 20 hours a day, not having food to eat. I meet another friend who is a foodpreneur, and another friend who was the London School of Economics union president, Suleiman Raza and Bilal Saqib. So 3 of us sit down together and we think, all right, what can we do? We don't know what's going on. We don't know whether we can survive these times. We don't know whether we will be still alive in the next couple of months. And this is the situation. The doctors, nurses, paramedics, they don't have hot food. What can we do? Now, one thing about Pakistanis is globally known that wherever we go, we ask for help. We ask for grants, we ask for loans, we ask for support. That's just, it has become a part of our DNA. So 3 of us, we asked ourselves this question. Even the British public, sometimes they believe that these Pakistanis are scroungers. They are here just to make money and utilize and abuse the resources. So what can we do? So for 3 hours, we sat down together and emerged one word that somehow we managed to coin, and I proposed 1 million meals. A dream was born. 3 of us with not much support, and we were not billionaires in pounds or millionaires in pounds. We thought, all right, let's serve the British doctors, nurses, paramedics all over the UK. Let's provide them hot food for free as a gift from Pakistan, the Pakistani diaspora. And a campaign was born, 1 million meals. Sorry. In the next 72 hours, the 1 million meals campaign was launched, in which we managed to put first £10,000 to start funding the campaign. In the first 72 hours, we found an incredible supporter, David Beckham. David Beckham makes a personal announcement that 1 million meals campaign is the beacon of hope under these circumstances, and I am fully backing it up. In the next 72 hours, the word goes global, and that becomes just published by more than 500 newspapers, TV, any kind of imaginable media. Here we start the campaign, 3 of us, that actually flourishes to 1,000 volunteers in England, Wales, Northern Ireland, and Scotland. In the next 3 months, until the lockdown was finished. 1 million meals campaign managed to serve millions of meals to 206 hospitals all over the United Kingdom. Initiated by 3 British Pakistanis, we got more than 72 nationalities involved: Afro-Caribbeans, Turks, Arabs, Indians, Sri Lankans, Bengalis, Europeans. And this campaign went nationwide. When the campaign ended, on the same day when the lockdown ended, we received letters from the late Her Majesty, the Queen Elizabeth II. Not only this, Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced the Points of Light Award for the campaign. Not only this, there's actually a long list. The Freeman of the City of London is the London's highest civil award that was presented. But there's something fundamentally surprising that came out of it. 3 of us, myself, Suleiman, and Bilal, we were invited to the Buckingham Palace and presented the royal honors of the MBE, which is the Member of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire, by the Queen and then by King Charles III. Something which is surprising, they told us that never in the 800 years of the British history, one campaign, all founders were never honored. So they made an exception by honoring all 3 of us, by doing something that was 1 million meals. But 1 million meals, well, that creates a story and that inspires. But for us Pakistanis, it was the most natural thing to do. That's what we do. Those Pakistanis who are present here, this is exactly what we would do anywhere if we are seeing someone in a crisis situation, our friends, families, relatives. So when we were taken to the Windsor Castle and the Buckingham Palaces, this is what we said. This is what we are. We are Pakistanis. We did nothing special. This is who we are. This is what we would do whenever we see anyone around us in need. I bring to you this story at this incredible forum just to share. That's how we inspire. That's how we Pakistanis, we live globally. Yes, there are stories, negative stories. There are lots of challenges to surmount. But there are stories to celebrate. There are stories to share. And I give you one. Thank you so much.
Speech. I introduce to you now Ambassador Ayesha Ali. With a diplomatic career spanning over 24 years, Ambassador Ayesha Ali is presently serving in Prague, Czech Republic since August 2023. As a Consul General Head of Mission, Consulate General Pakistan, New York, USA, she was the first female diplomat to head one of the largest Pakistan diplomatic consular missions there. In that capacity, she served the largest concentration of Pakistani Americans, approximately 300,000 in number, in over 11 states of the Northeast in the US. Ambassador Ali successfully spearheaded emergency operations for the diaspora during the height of COVID-19, including repatriation of stranded citizens to Pakistan on special flights. The Ambassador Ali holds a master's degree in international public policy from SAIS, Johns Hopkins University. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Haya, for a very generous introduction. I hope everyone can hear me at the back as well. I want to begin by thanking KCFR-SACC, and my very special thanks to the Pathfinder group, to the esteemed co-chairman, Mr. Ikram Sehgal, and I see that my friend Zarar Sehgal, the chairman, is at the back. Very nice to see you here, Zarar and Kashmala, both of you, hello. I've had the privilege of knowing Sehgal Sahab and Zarar in New York during my work as the Consul General of Pakistan, and their dedication and commitment to Pakistan and its causes has been critical and exemplary. Thank you so much, sir. I also acknowledge two of my colleagues, ambassadors who are here in the room, Ambassador Amir Shaukat and Ambassador Rizwan Sheikh. Thank you, both of you, for joining, and one of them will also be speaking to you later. Truly honored and humbled to be here as the ambassador of Pakistan to the Czech Republic, and to have this wonderful opportunity to speak to you about the empowerment of women in our country. And I think no story about how inspirational and how inspiring Pakistan is would ever be complete without the inspirational stories of our female diplomats. Pakistan actually has a very long and cherished history of female diplomats, starting actually with our first, the wife of the first Prime Minister, Rana Liaquat Ali Khan, who served our country with a great distinction in several capitals of the world, and also as a delegate to the United Nations in the 1950s. She was a remarkable woman who left an indelible mark on our diplomacy and also became a beacon of hope and of possibilities for so many women in our country. Ladies and gentlemen, being a female diplomat is a challenge. And it means different things for different people. And it is all the more for a female diplomat coming from Pakistan who breaks stereotypes at every step of the way, both within the country as well as outside. While individual strengths matter, what is more important is the whole personal, social, political, economic, and institutional ecosystem around it, which is the most important and essential element of women empowerment. I was asked to talk about the Foreign Office and the female diplomats, and this is a story that does not get to be told very often. So I'm very happy and proud to be doing this. I'm very happy and proud to share with you that the Foreign Service of Pakistan is an equal opportunity organization where you get equal pay for equal amount of work and equal opportunity to represent your country at the highest level, both abroad as well as in the at the headquarters in the Foreign Office. The Foreign Office stands out as a merit-based institution giving the fullest consideration to the performance and hard work of the individuals that work there without any gender bias. Pakistani female diplomats have been the beneficiaries of a level playing field while serving at the headquarters, as I said, and in our diplomatic missions abroad. Another very encouraging development that I want to share with you, in the recent years, our Foreign Office has seen a large intake of female officers. And we have now around 150 women diplomats. And currently, we have 5 ambassadors in Europe, including an all-women mission in Norway. While the increasing number of women joining the Foreign Office, I believe that our future is definitely female. I hope it would one day also lead us to have a more feminist perspective into policy decisions that impact, that have a global impact. The world, I think, would be a much better place for it. I was also asked to speak about my own personal journey, and I can tell you that it has been extremely rewarding. I would not have been here without the lifelong support of my parents, the vision that they had for me, and the opportunities that they created for me, and the means that they provided, sometimes at the cost of huge personal sacrifices. Believers as they are in educating women, they prioritized it and inculcated a sense of service and purpose into my life. While they held my hand, they also let me be the final arbiter of my own destination. So a young Pakistani girl could actually dream of being an ambassador and reaching really whatever goals she had set for herself. I was very fortunate to have that personal and institutional network, which we must strive to create for all the young girls in Pakistan, so they can also dream big and achieve their full potential. In my own career, I've had the opportunity to make my contributions both in our missions abroad as well as at the headquarters. And I mentioned being a consul general in New York, which was the first time ever that a female Pakistani diplomat was given that opportunity. And that was really, really, actually breaking the glass ceiling. Previously, as it was previously considered to be a wholly male domain. Looking at the larger picture, ladies and gentlemen, when you read about the statistics about women empowerment coming from Pakistan, they leave much to be desired. And at times we tend to get a bit worried, and the picture obviously sometimes is not very encouraging. But when you look at the larger picture, the achievements that have been made, I think, are much larger, and we need to take them into account before before drawing any conclusions. We have, over a period of time, which has been a relatively short period of time, developed a robust human rights and women rights framework and several institutions in our country of which we need to be extremely proud. We have the Constitution of Pakistan, which guarantees equal rights to both men and women. And both at the federal as well as the provincial levels, we have several institutions, several ministries, several offices that work for guaranteeing equal rights to women, including my own ministry, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. When it comes to our international obligations, we have done pretty well. We have signed and ratified 7 of the 9 UN core treaties. So we have an extensive infrastructure. Saqib Saab already spoke about BISP, and there are several female notable firsts who have done an amazing job, and he mentioned our first Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto, and the amazing work of Benazir Income Support Group as well. So ladies and gentlemen, overall the improvement in women's rights are spreading through Pakistan, and an increasing number of Pakistani women are educated and literate, and religious groups and civil society are increasingly denouncing any form of violence against women. There are several positives when you look at the story of women empowerment in Pakistan, and I see the larger rates of enrollment for women and for girls in colleges and schools as one of those positive trends. We also have a very high rate of enrollment for women in professional education colleges in our urban centers, and there are many places where women are already outcompeting the men. For me personally, I see the increasing use of digital technologies as potential game changers in leapfrogging the women empowerment initiatives. And a large number of our women are also leading several startups and NGOs as well as businesses which are already doing that. I wish I could go on and on, but we have a very impressive list of panelists, several people who are waiting here to speak after me. Thank you so much again for listening to me so patiently. And thank you, Sehgal Saab, again, for allowing me to present this story.
Thank you, Ambassador Ayesha. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you Ambassador Rizwan Saeed Sheikh from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Ambassador Rizwan Saeed Sheikh, presently serving as Additional Foreign Secretary, Middle East, SIFC, and Economic Diplomacy at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Islamabad, is a career diplomat from Pakistan with 3 decades of experience. Previously, Ambassador Sheikh was Pakistan's first permanent representative to OIC at the head of a pioneering act in the country's diplomatic history. He also served as Deputy Chief of Mission, DCM, at the Embassy of Pakistan in Washington, D.C. for over 4 years. Welcome, Ambassador Saeed.
Now it's on. Can you hear me now? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you, Haya, for introducing. And profound gratitude to Sehgal Saab, Pathfinder Group, Zarar Sehgal Saab, who I just met on the train on way to here, but have heard a lot about him. Well, I may be the only one in this group who was present at the first Pathfinder event, way back. I was posted as First Secretary at Pakistan's permanent mission to the United Nations in Geneva, way back, 20 years back, 2 decades back. And I was much slimmer and much younger. And I remember being the head of Chancery in those days, who is the administrative head of the mission. And I had to liaise with the Pathfinder team for organizing that first breakfast. And today, 2 decades on, we are here celebrating not only 2 decades of success, but also celebrating 20 years of Pakistan's presence at the World Economic Forum, 20 years of sustained Pakistan's presence at the World Economic Forum. And it's certainly something to celebrate, and I would request to give Sehgal Saab a big hand for that. Pakistan has a lot of stories to tell. Actually, the stories that Pakistan can tell or that relate to Pakistan, they go way beyond, way before or they can be traced back to way before the independent existence of Pakistan. We started in 1947 with Karachi as our capital, but now we have Islamabad as our capital. And when Islamabad was being built as the new capital, we didn't know at that time that close to Islamabad, in the Swan Valley, remains of the oldest human civilization were found in the Swan Valley. The Paleolithic age remains, the Stone Age remains. So while the world may think that we have security challenges, we are in a difficult neighborhood, but please rest assured, we are the oldest people on earth and we are not going anywhere any sooner. There is a lot that inspires Pakistan. In fact, the topic of the book that Madam Haya Sehgal has, Resilient Pakistan, is the best way to describe Pakistan. We are in a particularly difficult neighborhood. I mean, frankly, and in a light vein, look at our neighborhood. Afghanistan, Iran, India, a congenital threat perception that we have had, even China. I think the best of relations or the best neighbor that we have is Arabian Sea, because throughout these 77 years of independent existence, at least the fish have not been pouncing at us. But seriously, Pakistan has survived in the world, has taken on for the rest of the world with particular reference to the international combat against terrorism that no other country would have done or would have faced in normal circumstances. We have had sustained turmoil within our region, and each time Pakistan has emerged victorious out of whatever crisis came our way. be it security crisis, be it economic crisis, be it floods of biblical proportions, as recently as 2 years back, be it the climate crisis that we are facing. We are perhaps the most resilient nation on the face of this earth, and we have proven it time and again. Ambassador Ayesha Ali has spoken about the Pakistani diplomacy. I am also a proud member of the Foreign Service of Pakistan. And if you just look at the 77 years history, almost 77 years now, history of the Foreign Service of Pakistan, given the geostrategic location that we have had, given the crisis that we have all along, if you come to think of it, punching beyond our weight in the diplomatic arena. Pakistan has done a lot, and I am a proud member of the Foreign Service of Pakistan, drawing inspiration from our seniors, legendary figures in the Pakistani Foreign Service, like Ambassador Agha Shahi, Ambassador Niaz-e-Naik, too many. I mean, coming down to even living legends like Ambassador Munir Ikram, who continues to be our permanent representative at the UN even today. We have, like the country's geographical challenges, in the Foreign Service of Pakistan, we have had a history of accepting challenges. What inspired me was this legacy of legendary diplomatic icons, and a small contribution that I made, not just to my foreign service, but perhaps the international community at large, was during my stay at the OIC General Secretariat on deputation, when I was the first ever designated spokesperson of the Muslim world, of the OIC, during the time of the Turkish Secretary General, Dr. Akmaluddin Ehsanoğlu. This was the first ever time that a spokesperson was designated by the Organization of Islamic Cooperation 40 years after its existence. But the more important thing that I would continue to remember as a humble contribution to the international community is that I created from scratch, from the basic text to the statute, to the establishment, to the elections, and to the first two sessions of the OIC's Independent Permanent Human Rights Commission, creating the Muslim world's first human rights body. And I remember that, again in a light vein, when I used to come to Geneva to liaise with the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights during those days, during the formative days of this commission, one of my seniors in the Foreign Service of Pakistan, but at that time he was serving also in an international organization, he said to me jokingly, "Human Rights Commission of the Muslim world? How can you even mention it with a straight face?" But ultimately, it became a reality. For the first time, I distinctly remember when the Turkish Secretary General of the organization called me and said that you have the Geneva experience, you have served in the Human Rights Council, can you take on a challenge to establish this commission? And he immediately mentioned that, and he called it, I still remember those words, that I know that it is mission impossible. We may not be able to do it, but let's give it a good, fair try. Because it was so stipulated in the OIC's 10-year program of action, which of course had been signed on at the summit level by all the heads of state. But of course, as we understand that there was definitely resistance, for instance, within the Middle East, within the GCC region, because they thought perhaps that a Human Rights Commission would be kind of an incriminating body. But to convince them over a period of just 2.5 years that it wouldn't be incriminating in any way, it would be introspective, and it would be their best defense, is something that was really, really an impossible task. But we negotiated the statute with consensus. We kept the Office of the Human Rights Commissioner in Geneva on board throughout that exercise. What I told them, let me share privately with you, the gist was that, look, there's no problem with better part of OIC's membership. Pakistan, Turkey, Malaysia, we have laws, we have courts, there are human rights bodies. But you know, there are countries which perhaps are slightly skeptical of this kind of an establishment. And perhaps they may not view it positively until and unless they are encouraged. So you have two choices. When we are in the formative phase of this body, you can either encourage us all the way and basically encourage those countries to take that step, to take that leap, to take that plunge, or you can start criticizing us and they would scare them away further than they already are. And if you look at the period of 2009 to 2011, all the statements of the then High Commissioner for Human Rights for the UN, Madam Nathan Pillay, have a small paragraph encouraging the establishment of OIC's Independent Permanent Human Rights Commission in a most credible fashion. She kept her promise, the Human Rights Commission kept their promise, and they kept encouraging us all the way. But as soon as we are about to finalize the statute, there was this Arab Spring. So it basically scared a number of countries in the region, out of their wits. So on the 30th of June, in a hurry, because of that Arab Spring, we finalized the statute very quickly. The commission was up and running. It had its first session in Jakarta, second in Ankara, and today, since 2011, 13 years down the line, it's a thriving body. And that could be done, that mission impossible could be accomplished because in the Foreign Service of Pakistan, coming from a country that has the inspiration, the legacy of a diplomatic service that had all along been defined by challenges, been shaped by challenges, it was fairly normal for us to find a way. Pakistanis always find a way in the most difficult of circumstances. So this is a history that continues to inspire us. This is a history that will continue to inspire us. We may be in some slightly difficult economic situation, but it is not for the first time that we have faced this situation in Pakistan. Pakistan is an investment-ready country. The thrust now from having, for the better part of our history, been at a disadvantage of our geostrategic location is to utilize our geo-economic significance. We have recently established a special investment facilitation council about which General Tabassum will certainly brief you. But the fact remains that with the 5th largest population on this planet, Pakistan is a huge, thriving market, thriving population of no less than 240 plus million, a huge market. We are the 2nd largest Muslim country in the world, and honestly and frankly, population growth rate being our most credible statistic, we are likely to beat Indonesia before 2030 as the largest Muslim nation on the planet. So that is what Pakistan is, and that is what Pakistan is going to be. It is a land of great opportunity, endowed with minerals, endowed with the most arable agricultural land, a huge, vast swath of land that can be cultivated and can take care of food security, not only for its own people, but for the entire region and even the broader world. There are countries which have, out of the 8 rare earth minerals, there are countries which some have 2, some have 3. Pakistan may be the only country in the world which beneath our surface has all the 8 rare earth metals. All the rare earth metals, all the 8. It's only a question of getting them out and benefiting not only ourselves, but the rest of the world through it as well. So there is this country which is on the verge of takeoff. You will hear this theme resonate in other panels and other discussions during this World Economic Forum as well. But let me, as the marketing agent of Pakistan, as the serving diplomat of Pakistan, invite you, all of you, and those who you come across during this Davos season, please carry this message to them to profit from the promise of Pakistan. Thank you.
Ambassador Syed, I do agree with you. I think Pakistanis, no matter what hits them, they just simply pull through. And they stand back up again and again and again. I'm going to introduce, very happily so, another woman on a panel. Very pleased to have you here. I'm going to introduce to the entire group right now, Gulmina Bilal Ahmad. Gulmina is the Executive Director of Individualland. She has a rich 24 years of experience in the development sector with a sharp focus on peace building, social resilience, youth engagement, communications, gender and social inclusion. That's something that I actually write about. She has developed a portfolio of national, regional, and international partners. Recognized as a resource person on PCVE, public policy, and communication studies. Since June 2007, she has worked as the Executive Director of Individualland Pakistan, IL, which is a consulting and advocacy group working in South and Southeast Asia. Relevant to the panel is Gulmina's interest and experience in strengthening and mainstreaming women in media, law enforcement, parliament, local government, and policy engagement. We welcome you on board.
Now I believe I'm audible. Thank you so much for this wonderful introduction. I almost didn't recognize myself when you were mentioning this. We've been talking about storytelling. I think on this wonderful afternoon at Davos, we should celebrate and acknowledge the first original Davos Pakistani storyteller, Mr. Ikram Sehgal, and his Pathfinder group. For let's be candid, Pakistan's story is often lost in translation. So Sehgal Sahab has done quite a daunting uphill task of persistently, consistently telling the story and actually inspiring us, the newer generation of storytellers, to actually continue in his footsteps. So kudos to you. Ladies and gentlemen, a few years back, one of the English monthly Pakistani news magazine, for its International Day cover, International Women's Day cover, had a question on its cover. And the question was, will the real Pakistani woman please stand up? I bring to you this question today. Just like the country is beautifully, gloriously diverse and a little complicated, the Pakistani woman is also not homogeneous, and neither are the circumstances in which she finds herself. We have the good and the bad. We have the globally acclaimed names represented as the Pakistani woman: Malala Yousafzai, Benazir Bhutto, Sharmeen Aboid Chinoy. But the Pakistani woman, even today, is part of a tragically high stat of 33% maternity mortality rate. Since we're talking about storytelling, allow me to indulge in a little bit of my own storytelling. I introduce to you a 20-some-year-old girl, Samina Sheikh, who comes from a rather underdeveloped part of the country, from a small city bordering the province borders Afghanistan. She is a media studies graduate, very, very passionate about storytelling and digital storytelling. But it was completely unfathomable that as a media studies graduate in a small, small city in the male-dominated media landscape, she would be able to work, she would be able to report. It was completely unfathomable. There was no other option for her life path but rather to sit at home and wait to get married. But Samina reminded herself and all of us that this is the world of the internet, what Ambassador Ayesha was saying about digital connectivity. So she founded a social media news platform by the name of Burqa Journalist. The name was because she, together with 5 other women, used to go out, in fact still go out, to the field, report very, very actively on all the beats while wearing a burqa. So the circumstances are not ideal, but this is what we do. We convert the circumstances into goals. Since you're having a wonderful lunch, let me not give you heartburn by reminding all of us of the rather nasty facts and figures when it comes to particularly gender-based violence and social cohesion and social, and as well as domestic abuse, domestic violence. I'm not going to go into those facts and figures, but I will tell you that 25 years earlier, when I used to work with the police, we would have a room full of 30 police personnel, and we would be lucky to actually have 1 or 2 women who were in the police. And they would be sitting in the corner, and the male police personnel would be dominating the discussion, and they would just come up to me during coffee or lunch and talk about their circumstances. Today, when I train the police, I have participants who are men, I have participants who are women, I have participants who are transgenders, who are actively part of the police service of Pakistan. We've got women at every tier of law enforcement. We've got women and child police stations, women and child facilitation centers, one-window operations, and not just in the main cities. The main cities, we do have it. That's not a biggie. The biggie for me, as a Pakistani woman, is that we've got these facilitation centers, these one-window operations, even in the smaller cities. And when we say we, I mean the public and the private sector of Pakistan, who we've worked jointly, we've worked together to actually tackle this menace of gender-based violence, particularly with a sharp legislative and operational emphasis on violence against women. So Pakistan is changing. We do have on the Global Gender Index, our ranking is not enviable, it's rather concerning, but when it comes to political empowerment, we jump up to 93. So that's saying something. Pakistani women are rebuilding lives after earthquakes, after droughts, after floods, after conflict, after displacement. Whatever remains they have, they scavenge it together and rebuild from whatever they have. This is the story of resilience. These are everyday women. They might not have the advantage of education, they might not have access to health, but they do know that before the day is over, I need to rebuild my home, I need to rebuild my street, my society, and continue, because tomorrow I have a new task, a new challenge to tackle. What do we do now? How do we move forward? I would like to share that there are a number of very positive things happening in the country. But perhaps what we are missing is just connecting the dots, just weaving it all together to form the larger, more impactful picture. There are women entrepreneurs, but let's invest more in women entrepreneurs or organizations that are supporting women entrepreneurs. From the deserts of Dalbandin in Balochistan, women who do not have access to health, it would take perhaps a number of years to build a bricks and mortar health facility. What is the solution? The solution is a women-led initiative where there is telemedicine, where she connects to mainstream and taps into mainstream health education facilities. These are investing in the female media, because it is very important. When we were coming in, my good new friend, Ijaz Sahab, was talking about perception and reality. The reality is what I and my fellow panelists have been telling you. The perception is very different. The perception is not enviable. So we need to be able to tell stories domestically and internationally in order to inspire, in order to talk about that woman who rebuilds society, talk about the burqa journalist, talk about the woman who has built a school in Mand, who has a camel library in Sindh. These are the stories that we need to continue to speak about. Resilience is all okay, but let's ask ourselves, how far can we only run on resilience? We need institutionalized legal frameworks to prop that up, to catalyze it, and we need investment in entrepreneurial, innovative, out-of-the-box ideas, which the local population has in order to surge ahead, so that 20 years later, when we are again celebrating Ikram Sehgal Saab's ideas and the Pathfinder's resilience, we have even more beautiful stories to tell. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gulmina. That was really a wonderful speech. Thank you for participating. I'm going to introduce you guys today to Syed Ali Naseer, who is the Chief Data and Strategy Officer of Jazz. Ali is an international C-suite executive for the last 2 decades, steering multi-billion-dollar businesses in challenging environments. Presently, with Pakistan's largest tech and digital company, Jazz, Ali brings strategic decision-making, crisis management, and government advocacy expertise to the table. He has successfully pivoted his career from strategy and communications to transformational business performance, and is now a recognized leader in the commercial and technology arena. Prior to Jazz, Ali spent over a decade in the tobacco industry, and before that had a decade-long career as a civil servant with the government of Pakistan. Welcome, Ali.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Ikram Sehgal Saab, thank you for the invitation and continuing to prop this session of making sure that Pakistan stays relevant on the world stage. I think the number of inspirational stories that I've heard today, and it shames me as a Pakistani that we don't pay enough attention. And I think a couple of my colleagues here have mentioned that we need to do a better job of the storytelling. My own story is not that inspirational, so I'm not going to try and compete. And I think the main course is about to be served, so I don't want to compete with that either. So I'll be brief. For me, I think the important thing here is not so much our resilience, which I think clearly has been borne out. Ambassador Sheikh talked about, we're one of the oldest populations on the planet, and we aren't going anywhere in a hurry. I'm going to talk about opportunity, because I think it's often been said, and we have this joke on the Pakistan cricket team that never performs to its potential, that they have a lot of potential. Unfortunately, that potential never gets realized. But honestly, I think that is about to change. And the reason why I believe that's about to change is because of the industry that I'm in. Jazz is the largest connectivity and digital player in the country. And what we see today may not actually be visible to a lot of you and to a lot of people globally. We all know Pakistan is the 5th largest country in the world, 240 odd million. What we don't know is that we have the 4th largest number of freelancers in the world. So, and the reason for that is that 64% of our population is what we call digitally native. They have been born and grown up in an environment where digitalization comes to them naturally. So the digital savviness of future Pakistan is actually a game changer. And it's borne out by the industry that we see. We have the 10th largest number of internet users, and that's not a statistic we're proud of because we have the 5th largest population. So why are we 10th on the internet? And that's to do with some structural issues that we're in the process of resolving. But honestly, from the perspective that I get personally as the Chief Data and Strategy Officer at JAS, is the amount of data that is being generated and used by the youth of Pakistan to drive in areas that we've talked about. Ambassador Ayesha, Gulmina talked about the change, the step change that digitalization is making. And I'll hazard an opinion where I believe this is a game changer for Pakistan, because previous attempts for Pakistan to realize its vast geographic as well as people potential have been held back by a resource constraint. And I think the fourth industrial revolution with not a great emphasis or reliance on resources is a game changer. If you have the right ideas, you have a computer and you have an internet, the world is your oyster. And I believe for that reason Pakistan is about to finally realize its potential. We've seen Pakistanis do well. Arif Anis talked about the diaspora. We've seen how they are now starting to come back and invest in Pakistan and bring a bit of global expertise to that, clearly that enthusiasm and spirit that we know and recognize exists in the country. So we at JAS are very excited because we believe that we've got front seats to this transition, and we have a role to play. It's a responsibility that we're taking on very seriously, and we are encouraging a lot of people in the country and outside to really talk about digital Pakistan, more so than inspiring Pakistan, because we believe that that is the route Pakistan can take to become a truly inspirational story out there. So thank you again, Sehgal Saab, and honestly the panel that you've chosen highlights some of the very various facets, the distinct facets of Pakistan. My congratulations again to KCFR and the Swiss Asian Chamber of Commerce for hosting us. And I think the main course is about to be served, so I'll say thank you and goodbye.
Thank you so much. World Bank advising countries on digital ID and implementing digital public infrastructure to achieve development goals. He is the former chairman of the National Database and Registration Authority called NADRA, Pakistan, where he implemented digital transformation, the plan by rolling out 45 digital public goods and services in 2 years. Prior to joining NADRA, he was an advising member of States of UN on digital governance as chief technical advisor of UNDP. As one of the key architects of the Naseer Income Support Program, BISP, Tariq not only advocates but shows how the use of digital ID and innovative technologies can transform social protection, financial inclusion programs to empower women, protect internally displaced persons, combat tax evasion and corruption, strengthen democracy, and reduce poverty in Pakistan.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction. It's a very long introduction, but you know, it's all so much praise that I am impressed with myself. You have some negative material on me also, so you can Google my name as well. But don't believe on that.
Well, we won't do that over here.
Yes, yes. So it's quite an honor and privilege to be speaking to you and talking about inspiring Pakistan. I have always believed that the real strength of inspiration are the people of that country. And one of the person that I want to acknowledge is the Ikram Sehgal Sahab. And I want to congratulate the Sehgal family for taking Pakistan in international stage and introducing it and inspiring the story by narrating the story of Pakistan to the rest of the world. So while we are talking about Pakistan, I'm not going to cover about the talks that everybody has already mentioned, a lot of things about Pakistan. But I come from a very patriotic family. My father is writer of about 30 books, and he spent a lot of his life educating in Western universities and European universities, and that's how we started traveling with him. So my second master's degree was from Universität Heidelberg, which is just closer to this place. And, when we were growing up, there was a wall of pictures of the family pictures. Everybody has brothers, sisters, ancestors. And we had always two pictures, and our friends used to joke that how these guys are related to you. One was the great poet, philosopher, contemporary of Goethe, Dr. Allama Iqbal, and the other one was the founding father of Pakistan, which is Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. So while we are talking about inspiring Pakistan and talking about the people who have inspired Pakistan, we need to go back to the roots and talk how Pakistan ideology has inspired the world. Is there a country which was formed after a plebiscite or a vote? That's Pakistan. Is there a country that was advocated by a top-notch lawyer, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah? Pakistan was not formed by winning a war or somebody discovered a land. It was the resilience of the people. So that ideology that, we don't believe on caste system. There is nobody, there is no Brahman, there are no Shudras. And the world is talking about inclusivity now in 2023. We were talking about inclusivity when we were making Pakistan. That is the story of Pakistan. We were talking about equity, about social justice when we were making Pakistan. So that is the story of Pakistan, and that is so closer to my heart that wherever I have gone, I have worked in United Nations, World Bank, I have helped the countries. Last month, I have been working with the Zambian president, Tanzanian cabinet, Zimbabwe, Malawi, from the platform of World Bank. And I am narrating this story to everybody, that this is what Pakistan is. If you like me, if you are inspired of me, then it is the story of Pakistan. And that is the inspiration that brings me back to Pakistan always after some time. When there is an opportunity, I go back, I serve the country. So now, a little bit about myself. We were sitting in a restaurant like this, having a lunch. The restaurant name was Amaranth at the 45th Street. And I was sitting with the lady who was murdered afterward, Benazir Bhutto. And I won the award from the state of Michigan at Harvard University as the best IT managed state. So she was saying, how can you translate the political vision into digital vision? I want to do this. And then he mentioned that she wants to roll out a program for the poorest of poor women, and it should give them some basic income support program. And I said, I don't know whether Pakistan has data or not. I left Pakistan in 1996, so she drew a bell curve on the tissue paper, on the napkin, and she said, we don't have any poverty database. I don't know about databases. And you have done this for Michigan, and you are reforming their system. I said, yeah, I don't know. I'm since last 12, 13 years, I'm not in Pakistan. She says, well, democracy is again coming, and why don't you come as an election observer? So I left with her in the same plane. She got murdered. I came back to my job in Michigan with the governor, Jennifer Granholm. But I kept on thinking, and I said, how can I contribute to Pakistan? Couple of things that she wanted to do, maybe I can do it. And I found one opportunity. There was a job available with Nadra as the DG. So I called Brigadier Salim Muin was the chairman, and he said, yeah, everybody is leaving from Pakistan. Why you want to come? I said, I want to serve the country. He said, you would be taken because there are no takers for that job. So, we can put you through interview, and if you want to contribute, you can come back. He was very kind. I came back. And at that time, 40% of population was registered. We were introducing, Pakistan was the first country who was introducing biometric registration. And the war on terror was at its peak. At that time, world was using biometrics when you go to jail. So here is a technology. You go to jail, you give your fingerprint, they hang the unique ID here, they take your mug shot. And they said, yeah, we have to register the whole population. And I said, no, I won't do it because, we don't register citizen as criminal. So a bit of, back and forth with the Americans, and we said, no, we are not going to do it. However, we will give the ID card to the citizen, and that ID card would define the social contract between the state and citizen. So you have to create a social value out of it. They said, oh, yeah, that's fine, And I started, and I developed a plan. Nadra, at that time, had only 2 months of salary. So that's why there were no takers. We developed the plan. Long story short, we registered the population, we linked it, we architected the Benazir income support program from napkins to one of the now world largest program. I was just part of the team, it's not like my idea, but there was a big team, Dr. Kassar Bengali, and a lot of people were involved. We architected that. And the Prime Minister calls me and he says, you have 2 months of salary, State Bank of Pakistan will give you 600 million loan so that you can pay the salaries for 1 year, and then you can stand on your feet. And I said, no, sir, we don't need it. So Minister of Interior got annoyed with me. And he said, you have a plan? I said, yeah, I have a plan. At that time, I didn't have a plan. So Prime Minister said, okay, go ahead and bring your plan. So Minister of Interior said, you have plan? I said, yeah, I lied. I don't have a plan. I have one thing. He said, what? I said, I have a conviction. So we went back. We carved out a plan. And we opened what we call NTL, National Nadra Technologies Limited. We openly participated in competitive bidding process, we won Nigeria's identity management system, we won Kenya's passport system, Sudan identity management system, Bangladesh driver's license, so on and so forth. So when you get these projects in millions of dollars, they translate in rupees a lot. So we became, long story short, after 5 years, the most profitable organization in Pakistan. Based on that leadership, when I left 2014, Ban Ki-moon was the Secretary General. So I narrated this story in the Brookings Institute, and I challenged their notion, the World Bank and United Nations. Their objective was to reduce the poverty, to increase the prosperity. And I said, how can you reduce the poverty if you have not counted the poor people? So if you don't count the people, people won't count on you, on any state. It's as simple as that. At that time, I was given the task to calculate how many people are invisible, how many people do not have an ID. We found out that in the whole world, 1.5 billion people did not have the ID. I became the chief technical advisor of UNDP. They gave me 134 countries and they said, we are structured into 5 regions. You pick one country in each 5 region and make Nadra Pakistan story in those countries. In those 5 years, I established Nadra in Jordan, Arab region, in Latin America, Peru, in Africa, Malawi, and so on and so forth, where there were other countries also. And then we linked it with social protection, financial inclusion, and this whole talk of inclusivity. The world learned from Pakistan. This is Pakistan's story. So anybody who will come up with an idea that is implementable, I would just go along with them. When I became second-time chairman, Ikram Sehgal Sahab came to me. We sat and we have less than 5-minute discussion. He wanted to roll out a financial inclusion program, Asan Mobile Account Program. So I understood, I said, yeah, we will do it. But he was worried that, yeah, Nadra will do back-end integration, but Tariq, who will tell State Bank of Pakistan, who will bring the banks on board? I said, no, I own this idea now. You gave it to me. So we started a competition among the banks. I went to PTA chairman, I went to State Bank of Pakistan, and I didn't rest, I didn't sleep till we implemented it. In 2 years, we have touched 10 million accounts in just 2 years. And the credit goes to Sehgal Sahab and his team. That is not all the story. The story is that out of those 10 million, more than 40% accounts are poor women accounts. That is another story. So in last 2 years, we have created 45 other such stories. There would be a separate probably presentation which we can give it to you. But that story is about the people of Pakistan, because all these digital public goods and services touches the lives and the souls and the rights of every citizen of Pakistan. Last 2 projects I implemented, digital census, touches every Pakistani of all walks of life. Before that, voter list, digitized voter list. India is asking us that, we want to digitize like that. When we registered our 75 million, citizens, India started to register Aadhaar, its first citizen. These companies you see when you walk, what is our contribution? What is Pakistan's contribution? You would be saying, Sejam, Morpho, Visage, these are biometric companies. They didn't have any base. Few jails will take their software. I and my team challenged them. Here is the 100 million population. Here is the 75 million. Your software doesn't work. Our software engineer taught them. And they are now the best companies. And that's why they invite me here to speak, to do marketing for them. And while I do marketing for them, I narrate Pakistan's story. This Pakistan story is so inspiring that our arch rivals have actually picked this story and replicate us. We were the leaders. We are the leaders. So I will end up, once again, I started with Qaid-e-Azam and I will end with Qaid-e-Azam saying that there is no power on earth that can undo Pakistan. So if we have come out of all these crises, the crisis makes and the disaster make us stronger. We learn, we make mistake, but we learn from mistake. So, with this prayer that Pakistan will prosper, inshallah, and we will make and narrate all these hidden secrets and hidden stories of Pakistan to rest of the world, so that while we are learning from them, they can learn from us as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I now very humbly and respectfully invite Major General Tabassum Habib, or the DG SIFC. A brief introduction. Major General Tabassum Habib is serving in the Pakistan Army since October 1991. He is a graduate of the Command and Staff College, Quetta, National Defense University, Islamabad, and King's College, London. He is also an alumni of the Kennedy School, Harvard University in USA. The general officer has varied experience and served on various command staff and instructional portfolios during his illustrious career spanning over 32 years. Owing to his background and work in economic-related endeavors, he was entrusted with the responsibility to conceptualize and operationalize the Special Investment Facilitation Council. The organization was launched on 19 June 2023, and the General, being its first Director General, is spearheading it successfully.
Thank you very much. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, my very profound gratitude to the hosts, the organizers, the Pathfinders, and especially Ikram Sehgal Saab for affording me this opportunity to talk to such an august gathering this afternoon. I, being the last speaker of the panel, please do not draw a parallel with a mushaira. It is just a coincidence that I'm the last speaker because I reached late because of traffic and I happened to be last on the list. Nothing beyond this. Secondly, all the illustrious members of the panel, they've been trying to say that they want to tell the story of Pakistan, the story of inspiring Pakistan. I feel myself at a very awkward position because ever since that I joined the military 36 years back, we are always told, don't tell stories, focus on doing work. So it's very difficult for me to tell a story. So if I fall short on expectations, my apology for that straight away. I am the Director General of Special Investment Facilitation Council, as has been highlighted in the introduction. This is the flagship initiative of the government, and this is a special initiative for the economic revival of the country. This is very unique in its composition. It has the civilian and military sitting on the table and trying to do a number of things, attract investment, improve the business environment and the ease of doing in Pakistan, steer privatization, a very tricky issue, and thereby contributing towards the economic revival of the country. Tomorrow afternoon, I have a very detailed briefing on the functioning and the concept of SIFC. So as far as this aspect is concerned, I'll stop here and I'll straight away switch over to the topic that has been given to me for today, which is Pakistan as a connecting hub. When we talk of a country as a connecting hub, this notion of connection is very wide and different interpretations could be taken. This could be from geopolitical connection to economic connection to societal connection, so on and so forth. But I, being the Director General of SIFC, will take a very direct and simple approach. We are talking about the physical connectivity of Pakistan with the regions adjoining towards east, north, west, and south. The territory which now constitutes Pakistan has been a connecting hub for centuries. Whether it was the east-west trade, whether it was access to Western China in the old ages, whether it was the notion of access to warm waters, Pakistan always had a significance in all these notions or efforts of connectivity. If we see it in a more recent way, Pakistan again as a connecting state, nobody can deny its significance. Pakistan is the only state which has the capacity to make China a two-ocean state. No other country can do this. An aspiring, growing economy on our east, if they want to optimize their terrestrial economic reach westwards to Central Asia, to Western Asia, it's only possible if it goes through Pakistan. Afghanistan and the Central Asian republics, they're very profoundly dependent on trade and connectivity through Pakistan. And above all, the hydrocarbon reserves of the Central Asian states, the most profitable and the route which makes business sense, it is through Pakistan. So Pakistan has immense potential, immense role as a connecting hub in the region, intra-region and inter-region. When we realize this, it's easy to say, but it's very difficult to realize. Why so? Let's start from the east. Unfortunately, because of the factors which are very well known to all of us, optimizing the trade opportunities from east to west are not easy. They have a lot of complications, they have a lot of impediments. If you talk about connectivity from north to south, while as I said, that's a huge opportunity, but from a geopolitical context, it has its own challenges. Connectivity to Central Asian republics, Afghanistan and beyond, the stability situation in Afghanistan, unfortunately for at least for the last 4 decades, have absolutely forestalled the optimization of this connecting opportunity. And towards the west, you know, Iran, trade to Iran has its own challenges. The isolation of the state, the issue of financial transactions, etc., etc. So those challenges are there. Despite all these challenges, efforts are being made to capitalize on the connecting opportunities which exist for Pakistan. Ever since SIFC came into being about 7 months back, in addition to 4 or 5 sectors that I'll talk of tomorrow, optimizing the connectivity and trade has been one of the principal efforts of SIFC. I'll just take a few minutes to cover the details of some of the efforts which have been made or some of the opportunities which exist in this context. First of all, let's take the road connectivity. We all know and we feel very proud that previously the road connectivity of Pakistan with China was limited to a few months because of the snow and climatic conditions. Alhamdulillah, this year, this trade will continue for 12 months. And the infrastructure has been upgraded. It is being developed and will have trade with China the complete year. As I said, that we had challenges of road connectivity to Central Asian republics through Afghanistan because of the security situation there. Now Pakistan has access to a number of Central Asian countries through China, including Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, and many more. And therefore, the instability of Afghanistan will not be able to impede the economic access of Pakistan and all other countries who want to use Pakistan as a conduit to the Central Asian republics. Talking of trade through Iran, despite all challenges, Pakistan's TIR operations to Tehran and Istanbul are already continuing, and inshallah very soon we'll see that Pakistan's road-based TIR operations would be accessing major capitals of Europe also. Having said this all, we have not dropped road trade through Afghanistan as an idea, and all efforts are being made. And whatever leverages and influences that we have, they are being brought to bear to ensure that Pakistan gets road connectivity to Central Asian republics through Afghanistan. And not only beyond Afghanistan, but also you hear a lot in the news nowadays of trade with Afghanistan, but based on the simple principle that every country in the world says that all moves in and out of a country have to be documented. Based on this principle, the trade with Afghanistan, inshallah, very soon it will prosper, and this will become one of the major components of economic growth of Pakistan. While I talk about all this connectivity with the regional countries, because of the CPEC, because we all know it that the phase 1 of CPEC was all about energy and road and infrastructure, both rail and road. So the domestic road infrastructure of Pakistan, while it may not be ideal, but it has come up very well in the last few years. And now the domestic connectivity with all the opportunities outside Pakistan that I just alluded to, they are there, and inshallah they will become a reality. Coming over to railway. We have been hearing about a trans-Afghan railway connectivity to Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan. It's been years, if not decades, that we have been listening of this trade route. A lot of progress has been made, the agreement has been signed, the initial feasibility has been done. There were certain challenges to the route alignment within Pakistan. There were certain challenges when this comes through Torkham. The change has been made. Now the alignment of that route will be through a place called Kharlachi. And very soon, inshallah, again, this rail connectivity from Karachi to Afghanistan and further to Uzbekistan will become a reality. Also, the upgradation of infrastructure of Islamabad, Tehran, Istanbul, ITI route, this is under progress, and inshallah you will see that Pakistan's rail-based trade till Istanbul will start very soon. In addition to that, there is a very unique new idea, I would say, at this point in time. It will take some time and more work to convert it into a project. Now, a new connectivity initiative from Afghanistan through Bramcha will connect Gwadar straight away, bypassing the ML1. And this will be a huge opportunity, and most of the Central Asian states, say Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan, they are very excited because of it, because this will reduce the length of the road connectivity by about 800 kilometers. And this will be a game changer, and also the international connectivity that we are looking for Gwadar, this will become a major benchmark for this. Domestically speaking, you know that the ML1 project has been approved. It is slightly reconfigured with an investment of about $6.8 billion, Very soon it will start, and again, like road, this domestic improvement of rail infrastructure coupled with connections to the regional countries, this will significantly enhance our trade opportunities with the neighboring countries. Third is the ports. Somehow, Pakistan as a nation, we are land animals, and the importance of the maritime sector, unfortunately, has not been realized in Pakistan. A major initiative has been taken from the platform of SIFC, and 3 ports, Karachi Port, Port Qasim, and Gwadar. At least half a dozen projects have been initiated, and they are at different stages of their maturity. For example, if you talk about Port Qasim, first of all, let's start from the Karachi Port. The inland connectivity of Karachi Port is a major issue, both railway and road. Now, major investment is coming, and very soon, inshallah, within weeks, you will hear some very important and very good news about Pakistan ports. The berths and infrastructure at the port and the freight handling capacity, major investments, major global investors are coming into that. Some of you might have heard of PIPRI or a PIPRI corridor. We have been hearing it for decades again, and on ground there is nothing. Today is 16th, tomorrow is 17th. Here in Davos, a major agreement will be signed by Pakistan with some of the biggest global investors, and this complete road connectivity through PIPRI corridor, development of PIPRI railway yard, and then inland connectivity, it will be signed tomorrow here. The minister is already here, and inshallah that will revolutionize the port connectivity of Pakistan. Secondly, if we come over to Port Qasim, you know that LNG import is a principal import of Pakistan now, and it is scattered all over. Now all the LNG hubs, they are being installed at Port Qasim, and you will see that for the hydrocarbon import of Pakistan, Port Qasim will become a major conduit. Again, we have been hearing about the optimization of Port Qasim. The width of the channel is very less. It is unsafe for some kind of cargo. The depth is less. The big ships cannot come. Again, within next 4 weeks, a major investor, Dubai Port, to be more specific, would come in, and a major investment is coming for the improvement of Port Qasim also. Gwadar, I said that it is being linked with railway, both linking it with ML1 and also going straight towards Afghanistan and then beyond to Central Asian countries. The pipeline, the IP pipeline, the connectivity to Gwadar will start very soon, again within the next 4 weeks. And number of projects for operationalize of Gwadar port, which unfortunately is lagging behind schedule, will be done in coming weeks. As once Dr. Mushahid Hussain Syed said that it's not Pakistan, it is Pakistan. So much is the potential of pipelines in Pakistan. And Pakistan, as far as the energy connectivity is concerned, some major projects are again being fast-tracked at the platform SIFC. When I was appearing in my captain to major promotion exam about 25 years back, we had an essay to be written on TAPI project. And today also, after quarter of a century, TAPI has not become a reality. Within last about 8 to 9 months, the framework agreement has been signed, the implementation agreement has been signed, the host government agreement is being signed within next, say, 10 to 15 days, and lot of progress has been made on TAPI project. And the last impediment is certain details about its financing, and we hope that TAPI will become a reality. Also, a very innovative addition to the TAPI project, because TAPI itself, we all know, there's a project and investment has been lined up by some of the Middle Eastern countries where TAPI will be taken to Gwadar. The moment it enters Pakistan through Balochistan, one leg will come towards Multan and the second leg will go towards Gwadar. And Turkmenistan is very excited about it because this will become a major outlet to Turkmen gas, to Arabian Sea, and then it can go beyond. Obviously, it has its own challenges. Previously, it used to be IPI, Iran, Pakistan, India. Now it is IP, and you know it again for last 9 years to be specific. It could not make a headway because of the Iranian factors and some of the considerations that I highlighted. Within next, say, 3 months, the construction of IP will start, inshallah. Financing has been lined up, the decision has been taken. It's only some details of the last leg that are being worked out, and the construction on IP will start very soon. So these are some of the connectivity initiatives that I wanted to put on the table before the audience, that while we face all the problems, Pakistan has a lot of economic challenges, but all-out efforts are being made to make the best use of the connectivity opportunities that Pakistan has. Talking about SIFC, towards the end of my discourse today, because some of the people of the audience may not be there, lot of effort has been made. Firstly, when we started SIFC, we realized that we will line up the projects and the investment will start flowing in. It was a new thing, at least for me. I had no experience. And very soon we realized that it doesn't happen that way. Unless the people who have already invested in Pakistan, they give a positive feedback to the people who are interested to invest in Pakistan, the investment will not come. And therefore, our primary objective became to make the existing investments successful in Pakistan. And believe you me, when we got into the details of it, we realized how complicated it is to invest in Pakistan, to make a manufacturing unit, to open up a business. It is hugely, hugely complicated. And we lump everything together by saying that security concerns, my very honest opinion is that it is not the security concerns that impede investment in Pakistan. It is the lack of investment-friendly environment which has impeded investment, and that needs to be addressed. The businessman who wants to come and invest Pakistan, there has to be a businessman talking to him, a bureaucrat talking to him. To be honest, they cannot communicate. They cannot communicate. The very nature of bureaucracy is that it cannot facilitate the investment. And therefore, the primary factor or the primary consideration that we now have as priority in Pakistan is that give that opportunity to the businessman, enable him to come and invest in Pakistan, he'll make his own way. They do not want tax exemptions. They do not want us to provide the land. They do not want us to provide them cheap energy. They are ready to pay for everything, but they want the government machinery to enable them, to assist them in establishing a business, and that's what we are now trying to do at SIFC. While I said that I cannot tell stories, but let me try and craft a story. Inspiring Pakistan, when you get into the details of the economy of Pakistan, the opportunities are immense. The kind of market that Pakistan provides, it's not available in many countries. And believe you me, the people who have done successful businesses in Pakistan, the kind of profit margins that they have had, it's unthinkable in some of the developed countries of the world. So, as Director General of SIFC, I take this opportunity to assure everybody that come and get in touch with us if you want to do business in Pakistan. I assure you that we'll give you a new experience. At least we'll find somebody within the government bureaucracy whom you don't have to push. They will push you to fast pace your decisions, and we ensure you that we'll undo for some of the bad experiences that some of the investors they had in the past. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Wonderful speech. To my audience over here, thank you so much for being so patient with all of us, sitting from the startup to the setting up to the luncheon to listening to all our speakers. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I'm almost done emceeing for the day, so you guys will be pretty relieved about that. I'm going to call the co-chairman of the Pathfinder group to give the concluding remarks. Before that, I just want to say hello to a few friendly faces. Ijaz from the CEO Club over here today. Thank you for your support. Thank you to Yves Manuel, who is the former deputy head of mission from the French embassy on the French mission to Pakistan, and we have him here today as well. Thank you for coming. Okay, I will give the mic over to you.
Can you hear me now? First of all, I will thank Haya for having done a good job in really conducting a very inspiring Pakistan lunch. Having said that, I want to congratulate each and every speaker here. Just before he left, and again, Michelle here, Malnari, who's been working with me for many years, he said that we've heard a lot of panels speaking. This is one of the best panels that we've heard. That is a tremendous accolade for you, every one of you. I would like to just say that I want to go back a little bit and how the name Pathfinder came. I was General Musharraf, as an SSG major, was commanding the Pathfinder team. I was his helicopter pilot. And we used to go and lay out the drop zone. The Pathfinder team used to go and lay out the drop zone and the paratroops used to land. So one particular day, one particular night, and he used to sit right behind me. Because in the helicopter, alert 3, you could hardly have a helmet on. And he would tap me on the shoulder when he was into the helicopter to take him away. And one day I left him behind. And then everybody started hitting me on the head from behind. Then I realized I'd left the head of the Pathfinder team. And he was standing there like this. So anyway, I've said this story for a reason. Because the other day somebody came and told me asked me, he says, the Supreme Court has said that, he should be death sentence. I think a man dead. It's unthinkable that the Chief of Army Staff of the Pakistan Army should be treated in this manner. And I said so on television. I said, no, it's not acceptable. And I'll tell you why. There were two people in run for the Chief of Army Staff slot. Both of them were very good friends of mine. And one of them is still my best friend, General Ali Kuli. Yeah. General Musharraf won, Ali Kuli lost out. The first thing Ali said was, he is the Chief of Army Staff, all debate stops. He stopped. People went to him. He said, all debate stops. Right? So that is the nature of the game. And that is why, when I first went to him, and I want to say this, because Ambassador Rizwan Sheikh talked about it. I first went to him and says, I want to take you to Davos. He said, "Phir tu mujhe mountain top pe chodaega." I said, "Nahi, come with me. It'll make it." And I was also not very sure. We went to the Lustenberger. There were a place for 150 people. 250 people turned up at the first breakfast. You could see the energy. And I tell you today, two people committed $100 million on the spot. Bill Gates for health and Jeff Bezos for education. $100 million spot. The money never utilized. Because of what General Tabassum has talked about. Bureaucratic, this thing, how do we take it, what happens, this, that, and the other. So, I may not claim it, but I went to General Musharraf at that time and I told him, I said, you have to set up something which will cut through bureaucracy.
otherwise you never get investment in. So he was almost on the verge of doing it, but by this time democracy had come in, Shaukat Aziz nixed it, and we never had this thing. And therefore when SIFC came in, and I was skeptical about it, I must be honest. But, you know, because when I left the army, I thought LC, letter of credit, was a girl. I said, what does the army officer know? Right. So my point was that, you know, I said, so I went to, I sent two people. One of them is here, Brigadier General Kiani, sitting somewhere, yeah, right, and another Colonel Adnan, both actually from General Raheel Sharif's course. And I sent them, and I said, I want to take SIFC to Davos. I have no thing. I had some projects, and one of the architects of that project is sitting right here, Michel Monari. We were talking about Karachi to Gwadar. He brought Karachi to Gwadar 8 years ago. He brought Karachi to, Taftan through another place about 8 years ago, right? We never got anywhere. We never got anywhere because before you knew it, the railways minister during Imran's cabinet sent his own man to him to get what are you doing with the Ikram Sehgal? You come along. The thing, of course, the man's integrity was he threw him out of the office. But the point is, we never got through anywhere, and it's not going to get through anywhere until SIFC comes in and takes those barriers away. In practice, you have to do that. You have to make sure. And there's a limitless, you're talking about this thing, railway lines. Railway lines is what the American West opened up because of the railway lines. Right? It was West, not that thing. So opportunity of a lifetime. Opportunity of a lifetime. So please, I think I wish you all the luck, and I'm very glad. I think, one of my best friends, also Gulmina is also here. Father was 2FF. One of my best friends was 2FF. Yaqub Masood, went to Sandhurst, and I was on my way to Sandhurst when I was sidelined. I said, no, let him have the sword of honor here. So I didn't go there. I didn't get the sword of honor either. But that's besides the point. But the most proudest moment for me was by accident. And I would refer to the accident because a number of people have talked about the Qaid-e-Azam. I have brought a couple of people with me, singers, Qawwali singers. But I coached them on one thing. I said, the first time when my my term was passing out, I was not the battalion SU, but the battalion SU had a sore throat, so I was giving, as the right forward company commander, Khalid Company, I was giving the commands. So my proudest moment was saying, 1st Pakistan Battalion, Qaid-e-Azam Zone, by the center, quick march. Right? That for me was the proudest moment. And the first time in the history of the Pakistan Army, Allahu Akbar was played. This was just after 65. So that, hopefully tomorrow, Morasani will not throw us out of the hotel, but we're going to have at least that people talk about Allahu Akbar. That is what inspires us. That is what really inspires us. And I'm grateful to everybody here. My son is sitting at the back, he's the chairman of the company. I take a lot of liberties with him as the co-chairman, but he is patient with me. And of course, I must commend my wife because she keeps on giving me cautionary steps at each stage, tells me, this is wrong, right? So that is why but of course it's not, no, but she does, she comes up with very constructive suggestions which have helped along with the result that today in the Davos community, perhaps she is better known than me, right? Because, you had, at one time, I can't even go into details, but there were a lot of people who were more friendly with her, like they're with my daughter-in-law today, Kashmala, right? But again, Haya, well done. And of course, I must not forget my other daughter, Nefer, whose idea it was to start with the AMA idea was her idea. You know, she came and said, why are our guards do not have bank accounts? Why don't their wives don't have bank accounts? Let's do something like that. So when we started this, Nefer, that thing, etc. And I will end by giving you one of Nefer, you know, she's this thing, etc. The DG Rangers in Karachi was Major General, then later Lieutenant General Ijaz Chaudhry. And he rang me up and said, sir, I am sending your daughter under guard back to you. She was working for the Express Tribune at that time. I said, under guard? What has she done? She said, sir, she was taking photographs. Rangers were fighting with the MQM at the thing, a full-fledged battle going on, about 30, 40 people. And she decided that the best place to take the photograph from right in the middle. So she was in the middle, with her team taking photographs both sides. She says, sir, I'm sending her under guard back to you. So that's Nefer, right? And so thank you, Dr. Amjad Saqib, thank you, Arif Anis, thank you, Janat Tabassum, thank you, Mr. Tabassum, for coming, and Gulmina, thank you. I remember your father very well, Bilal, and of course, Tariq, you really, really contributed to our success. And of course, Amir is sitting there, the thing, etc. You know, I must just say here that the AMA scheme would not have been possible without Amir Ibrahim and Ali Naseer. They went against the entire telecom industry. They just went against that. And they said, we are actually going to lose money on this. But the fact of the matter remains, if you really believe in financial inclusion, we really believe in women empowerment, we will do this. So thank you, Amir. And thank you, Ali. So that is, I think, in the end, we are having our 20th breakfast. We have been in Davos for 30 years. 31, actually. 1 year I came not being a member. 30 years, but 20th breakfast, this thing, etc. And then we have other engagements tomorrow, day after. And I hope they are as successful as today. And all of you will participate in some way or the other. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.